Hello, everybody. Welcome to the NobCast. Manchester United are League Cup champions. We'll be talking about that in depth with Gaskey, who is obviously very happy. I mean, look at his happy face. Look at the emotion in that face. He's buzzing because United won a trophy, obviously. So we'll be talking about that in depth and at length. Did United deserve to win the trophy? That's the question that Gaskey's going to answer for us. It's not ground his gears entirely, but it has sort of slightly rubbed him off the wrong way. So we'll be chatting about that. Newcastle, where did it go wrong for them? And where might it go wrong for the rest of their season and future prospects? We'll also be touching on Manchester City beating Bournemouth 4-1. We talked about Chelsea at length last podcast, so we won't really touch on them too much, but they did lose against Spurs 2-0 in the Premier League. We'll be talking about our mini-games, also casting an eye over to the most recent Champions League action with none of the English teams winning in that competition, and most of them losing, in fact. Of course, it is the return of NobCast, answering your guys' questions. And as I say, mini games such as Guess the Football in 60 seconds. But Gaskey, let's just get straight to it. Manchester United 2, Newcastle 0. Look at his smiley. So he's so happy. Big win for United. Obviously, winning the League Cup. Before we even touch on the game, Gaskey, how do you feel? And then how happy are you? Because it's obviously been a minute since United have actually won a trophy.
Yeah, it's been 6 years, and obviously League Cup's the League Cup. If you had the choice, I'd rather not deal with the League Cup, but it's a trophy. It's a trophy. You got to start somewhere, haven't you? Start with the one that people don't really care about. Cool, but it's somewhere to move on. The players will feel that winning feeling. Hopefully, that pushes them to want to win more. FA Cup on Wednesday. Keep pushing, and you never know. Could win a couple. You never know.
Yeah, well, they're still in 4 competitions, aren't they?
Yeah.
Anything is possible. Yeah. So let's talk about the actual game now. And I am going to immediately go to your gripe about how there's a question mark about who played better across the whole 90 minutes. I'll give you my thoughts first, if that's all right, and then you can disagree or not. So in the first half, I did think that Newcastle were the better team on the balance of play. I thought that the goal was it was obviously just from a set piece and not really well defended. Casemiro did very well, but up until that point, I can't really remember United doing that much in terms of advancing the ball and creating chances. Newcastle had more of the ball; they were doing more with it. And then the second goal, we'll touch on the goals shortly, but then the second goal is a bit of a freak goal. But what I will say is, they had a whole 90 minutes to do something and create a chance. And the fact of the matter is, Newcastle did not create anything throughout the whole 90 minutes. So I actually think that overall, Newcastle definitely did not deserve to win because they didn't create. They created sweet nothing.
And I'd agree with the first half, because I think a stat came up just before Casemiro scored where it basically said that all the ball was in the middle of the pitch. There was not much happening in the final third, but if you were to say who's scoring first, you'd say Newcastle. I would, because they were looking the better team. Like St. Maximin had that chance that De Gea saved. United take the lead, probably needed that goal as well to help them. Second, then a quick fire 2. And at that point, it's let's see what Newcastle can do. United don't need to second half going all guns blazing. The game was always going to open up. They should have potentially scored a couple more from if they were not as useless as they are when they're 2-on-1. Because I think they were 2-on-1 about 4 times, something stupid like that. But yeah, second half, they just didn't do it. It got to a point when usually, when you get into the last 10 minutes of a game, a cup final, you get nervous. I was like, I don't see them scoring. I just can't. I just felt like, are they gonna? Because I think it was second half. I think it was De Gea saved it once, which was when it was looping into the top corner and he just palmed it away. That was the only time I can remember him having to do something. Mm-hmm. They were shooting from into the box. They were making great passing play up to the edge of the box, and after that, it just seemed a bit. I don't know what to do now.
Yeah, I thought they were toothless, to be honest. Newcastle going forward. St. Maximin caused Dalot some issues.
That sub changed it, because Wan-Bissaka was just completely different. You just couldn't get past him, and that just kind of they were shoving. As soon as Dalot went on a yellow card, I thought shit. and then he kept throwing it down, say Maximan's throat. Second half came, he couldn't get past Wan-Bissaka once, and you might as well take him off because it's not going to happen. Because Maximan's one of them frustrating players. He's great, but it's just like, where's your end product? Like, you need something at the end. He's like Adama Traore. Like, there's something there, but the end product is nothing. And that's what he seems to lack.
100%. That was the exact comparison I made on stream, actually, that it's great getting into all these, good positions, but it's not even like he tried a low probability thing and gave the ball away. It was just a simple pass. Nearly every single one of his passes went to a United player. It's like, it was just such a huge waste. It must be such a frustrating player to watch week in, week out, as Adama Traore is, as well, because it did look promising early on. It did have Dalot on smoke at times, but then sort of like after that, the 25th minute, I feel like that threat sort of ended, and then, as you say, Dalot went off at halftime anyway, so it was irrelevant. And then on the other wing, you had Almiron, who contributed nothing into the game. I'm going to make a statement about Almiron, I'm good. Here's my official statement. So, at the start of the season, how I think you said something like he's like really rubbish. And
like he's poo, and then he started to score after that.
Yeah. Now, I think those goals are a bit of a false dawn because
they have masked his performances a lot.
Yeah, look, scoring goals is obviously great. Haaland, for example, that's his job. He's playing very well because of it. But I don't think Almiron's actually been great this season. I think that his performances have been pretty average, but he scored some goals.
Yeah.
So therefore, it makes him look like he's been brilliant.
But it's like you've got a player who's playing at a 2 out of 10 every single week. They're now playing at a 5 out of 10. They're better, but they're still not a 7 or an 8. Yeah. So you still, I feel like, there's a lot of players do that where they'll have a nice run of games, and you're like, look how good they are, and it's like, but are they?
Yeah.
He's still very average. He's gone from being shit to average, and I think people probably push it a bit over the edge. You're going, no, he's really good. It's like, not really. He's just average.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Well, a vast majority, I don't know the exact numbers, but a vast majority of his goals, if not all of them in the Premier League, came before the World Cup, and since then, I think he's been putting in the same level of performance. The goals just haven't been coming, so therefore it's like, I think it sort of actually shows what sort of player he is. So, for example, and this is quite an apt comparison because there was the whole, Grealish slagging off Almiron, and then Almiron played well, and Grealish was apparently not playing well. I think Grealish has had a much better season than Almiron so far. Again, does he have the same amount of goal contributions? No, but that's not what being a winger is necessarily all about. So I think in terms of actual performance and what you contribute to a team, I'm not sure that Almiron's actually been that good. And it's the same thing with Maximin as well. He's flashy and he's fun, and sometimes when it works brilliantly, like when he dribbled
that skill past Dalot was fantastic. It was absolutely brilliant.
That was lovely.
He used his body weight to feint him, and then that was probably the one time when you think, oh, I'm lucky, he did well there.
Mm-hmm.
Then after that, then what else did he do?
Exactly.
He was running at them, but there was no end products. Yeah.
Exactly. It's too far. It's what's the phrase? It's too far in between. It's too.
Yeah.
Something like that. Yeah. So, and we'll talk about Newcastle's potential problems momentarily. But let's touch on the actual goals right now, and actually let's specifically focusing on the second goal, because you felt like there's some scapegoating going on, Gaskey, don't you?
Like obviously we all knew Karius is going to play in goal, and it brings back his last game for English football, was the Champions League final, when he was probably the worst I've ever seen a keeper play. But I just feel like, and I'll stick up for him a bit, I think they were waiting for it to happen. I think that all of media were waiting for him to make a mistake, and they just, as soon as that goal went in, you'd analyse it heavily, and then you'll argue that it's his fault. Okay, he can even do better, but it's like, you can say that about nearly any goal. Any goal that goes in the net, you can look at the keeper and say, he can do better there. He can do better, but it's not, don't compare it to him dropping the ball between his legs or throwing it to Benzema's foot. If he was to stay on his feet an inch higher, he saves it. So It's not like, it's not like he's throwing himself to the ground and it's just gone in. So I just feel like, it's an unlucky one. He could have done better, but it's not one to, throw the kitchen sink at him and be like, he's just rubbish.
Yeah, it was a mistake, but Newcastle didn't score anyway. Yeah. So
it doesn't matter.
Largely irrelevant there, yeah. yeah, as I say, Nick Pope does save it, but Newcastle had to put the ball in the back of the net, and they didn't. So that's the thing. Can I just say, Gask, I'm sure it wasn't boring from a United fans' perspective, but from me, I'm not really neutral, because obviously, I don't really want United to win, but I don't support either team. So from a relatively neutral onlooker, it was an incredibly boring match.
Yeah. Like, I think within the first 10 or so minutes, it was very end to end, and it looked quite spicy, and it looked like, because I think United had like 2 shots to target, and it was like, this could be a decent game. And it did kind of dry up, because I think the problem you have there is United, they got a goal from a set piece, which is a cracking cross and a cracking header. And then the second goal, which came from good skill, good build-up play, lucky goal, let's be fair, 2-0 up. United just go, we'll test Newcastle now, see what they can do. We'll just catch them on the break, because they have to go and score 2 against us now. So they're going to push it. So why United don't need to go out? It's a cup final. You don't need to go and let's go and win 5. And Newcastle didn't offer anything. Newcastle were throwing players forward, and like I said, United could have won 4-0. And he didn't have to do anything special. I like the fact that he could take Delors off at right back and put him right back on, and it shut up shop. Fred did his whole running around like an idiot, winning the ball back, doing all that stuff. But then he could go off us a bit, so he does the same thing. And I enjoyed the fact that we could bring players on, not use the same 11 like Ollie would do for the 90 minutes and then be dead and then lose in the 90th minute. He could actually make a couple of subs and keep doing what they're doing, and it worked. So,
was Casemiro your man of the match?
I think so. Yeah, I think he wouldn't even get past him, was it? So he was very good.
Definitely, as you say, it's all about winning in the end when it comes to the actual final, and I think we're in agreement that United did deserve to win in this match. Do you have any thoughts on the naysayers who say stuff like it's only the League Cup, you didn't play anyone? I think that's a bit unfair.
It's putting the ball in a hat and taking the number out. Does it matter? It says you've got to play what's in front of you. It says if you want to bin off the League Cup, fine. Me personally, I'd rather not see it, because I think if you're in European competition, you should have to opt into the League Cup if you want to play it or not. Because I think if you give the option to most fans, they'll be like, I don't really care. Because I don't think any other major league has 2 domestic cups that the European teams play in.
No,
do they?
Germany used to, doesn't anymore though.
And they binned it off. So it doesn't need to have 2. So, but a trophy's a trophy at the end of the day. As says the Premier League teams play for 4, or European teams play for 4. So you're playing in it. So if you win it, you win it. I mean, I think did City beat Liverpool and Chelsea, then lose to Southampton? That's where frustration is. You've beaten the big teams and then flopped against Southampton. It's not the draw's fault. City's fault for losing. So it's
Sergio Gomez's fault specifically.
If you want to point a finger, yeah. So, but it's a trophy's a trophy. It is the Mickey Mouse Cup out of the 4 that you're going to be playing for, but it's somewhere to start. This squad now this manager he's made a statement here. He's gone, we've won a trophy. Let's win more. Great. It's got to start somewhere.
And do you see this being a catalyst for future trophies?
I think so, definitely. The way he's got the squad playing and the way he brings confidence in players. The fact, did you see the clip with Casemiro and Bruno? Like, Casemiro's still pissed off that he didn't pass it.
Yeah, I think so.
He just won the trophy, but that shows that he's never good enough, and that's good. You can enjoy it, but you can still question things. You still know how to chat about it. Yeah, so do it.
That's a winner's mentality.
Yeah, winner's mentality. That's what's needed. Not this we got to semi-finals under Ollie. Great. We did well. Well done. Thumbs up. No, win it.
Totally.
There we are.
Yeah. So that is United deserve to win. Newcastle were toothless. And before we move on from the League Cup final, let's just touch on that from Newcastle, because they have been struggling second half of the season. Not conceding that many goals, but also not scoring that many in the Premier League. That's overall, and certainly after. After the. Sorry.
Yeah, I think with Newcastle now, I think this is where we talked about. Is it the right manager to take them forward with the way the squad's going? This is where you need a big name manager who's going to be ruthless at winning. Because I feel like when you need to go get all tactical in that second half, I don't think Eddie Howe's the man to do that. Oh, let's go. We need to score 2 goals in a cup final. a different manager potentially could get that, but obviously, so it's all what ifs. But I just think that's where you draw the line, really.
Yeah, I do think they will comfortably fall out of the Champions League spots now.
But there'll be more finals. There'll be more good cup runs and stuff from them because they've got the squad they've got. It's the first season under new owners. They've signed players, but remember, you've still got Matt Ritchie and Jacob Murphy coming on who are not good enough.
Oh god, yeah.
Eventually that will stop. They'll be gone, and then you'll have where United can bring on Sabitzer and Wan-Bissaka. You'll be able to bring on players like that, and but it'll happen. It's the first year, and you've got to a final.
Yeah,
you can't ask more.
Oh, yeah, definitely. We touched on it. The two wingers, especially for me, Almiron, ASM. I don't think they're good enough long term. They need more midfield creativity. Bruno Guimaraes is a fantastic player. Yeah, he needs more help in midfield.
Yeah, he can't do it all. And Isak came on, and he was great. He was dropping deep, collecting it, and taking it forward. He's the striker. He shouldn't have to do that. The player who Guimaraes had to go off injured, and there was no one else to do it. The striker was doing it, and that's where you still need squad improvements.
Definitely, yeah. A few players who are good enough, certainly a few who aren't, but that's understandable because it's very early days in the ownership. I think
definitely
they will go from strength to strength, I am sure. The strength of the title race. Let's talk about that next. Arsenal with a very straightforward, comfortable victory against Leicester. They weren't exceptional, but they did enough. And I think Leicester produced, there's some mental stat, they produced like 0.03 XG, which is like the lowest in the history of the universe or something like that. I don't know what the exact stat is, but Arsenal didn't need to be that good to beat them. So straightforward victory for them. On the other side of the title race, Bournemouth 1, Manchester City 4. In my opinion, very similar performance to the Forest game, but the difference, Gaskey, was the finishing was there in this game. And can we please talk about Philip Walter Foden and how good he's been the past two games, and how I don't even know. I'm going to have a rant here. I want you to get involved and rant with me, Gaskey. So, that was weird. Phil Foden. That's what I'm trying to say. Before the World Cup, very good performances, including a hat-trick against United. He was, in fact, even up until a couple of weeks ago, he might still be City's second highest goal scorer in the Premier League. Got injured in the World Cup. I came back not fully fit, came back with an injury according to Guardiola. Not played that well since the World Cup. Got another injury against United, had to get taken off, and now he's come back and he's playing great. I am annoyed, Gaskey, when people decide to write off players or say that they're now bad because they're just going through a bad dip of form, or because they've picked up an injury. Can we agree that that's really stupid and moronic?
Yeah, it's bollocks. So the guy, what is he, 20, 21?
22, I think.
22? He's young. He gets injured, he misses a couple of games. You got to get back up to speed. The league is so much quicker than it used to be. You still got to get up to speed. Still got to, get back into the team. Because, if you're playing for titles, City have got the squad to, take players out, put players in, rest players. It's going to take a while to get back in. And it just shows that players will have a bad game. No one's going to play 38 matches and then be perfect every game. But just to go, right, he's done. No, his career's over.
Yeah.
It's just ridiculous.
Yeah, it's just maddening. And he played well against Forest. Should he squared it to Haaland earlier? Yeah, yes, and he fell over, but irrelevant, still had a good game. And he had a very good game against Bournemouth as well, getting an assist and getting a goal from the right-hand side of the front three. Haaland back amongst the goals as well. And Alvarez denied a brace due to an own goal. Rashford somehow didn't suffer from that same fate. Not really. I think it came out today, did it, that second goal.
They gave it him. They took it off him. They gave it him back.
It was an own goal, wasn't it?
It's a stat. Yeah, it's what it is.
Most blatant own goal. But yeah. So that was my little Foden rant. Just because there's a large, because it's I don't know. I don't know what the motivation is, but maybe it's because some City fans overhyped Foden. So the slight bit of sort of like bad run of form, they like to go, oh, he's finished, he's washed, or, you know, like these players are
go the other way.
Yeah, I don't know. But it's really weird. Like, and people have very short memories. He was playing really well before the World Cup.
Let's be fair, right? If you look at all the young English footballers under 25, right? Top 3 young under 25 English footballers. Foden's in that top 3.
I think so.
He's probably under 23 in the world. He's easily top 10. Yeah. So it's just people just need to chill. He's 22.
Mm-hmm. And he's playing well. That's the thing.
Yeah, and he's playing well as well. So just because the team have a dodgy game, don't go looking for a scapegoat or someone to just say no, he's absolute crap. No.
Yeah, because when he plays, guess what? City tend to play better with him in the team wherever he plays. So it's. I just don't really understand why people can't take into account the context of, well, he came back not fully fit and injured, and then he picked up a subsequent injury, so he was out the side. Because loads of people are like, oh, he can't start a game. Like the Leipzig game, for example. Like I think he was on the bench. People are like, oh, he can't start. You're not going to throw him in after he's just been injured.
Really?
Into like what is like, you know, a really tricky away game in Europe.
Well, here's an example for you. Martial played, right? I think it was the City game. Disappeared, right? Injured again. Oh, he's fit again. Boom, straight in the team for the second leg of Forest in the League Cup. Hasn't been seen since. So
it's almost like you shouldn't rush players back into a
exactly. Sort of sometimes maybe you have to say to the player, no, you're not playing. You're staying on the sidelines for 6 months. Sort yourself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that was my little rant. But City back to winning ways. Still conceded a really annoying goal right at the end, but I think that may have been more down to the fact that Pep made like 5. I mean, you know how the match is over when Pep brings on Sergio Gomez and Calvin Phillips. That's how you know the game's over. Because and I was like, I think City scored the 4th after like the 55th minute or something. Pep was like, right, game's done. I'll bring on some players who don't really care about. So there we go. It's still technically 2 points behind Arsenal, but I'm going to assume Arsenal beat Everton on Wednesday.
Yeah.
Yes. Exactly. Yes.
That put everyone on. Oh no, so United still have a game then. United still got a game in hand.
Yeah. Who's there?
Even though they played that Leeds one to get a game ahead, and now they're a game behind again.
Of course, yeah. And do you know who that game is against by any chance?
Not a clue.
No.
Not a clue. I want to say Brighton, but I'm not sure.
We will talk about it when we preview the game later, but obviously it's a big game for United coming up next against Liverpool in the Northwest Derby. Is that the official term? The Northwest Derby?
I don't even know. I didn't know it had a name.
No, I don't know.
Not a clue.
It's annoying, isn't it? Because, like, you know, La Liga's got El Clasico, Germany's got De Clasica, Ligue 1 has, I don't know, I assume it's called La Classique, where it's PSG Marseille.
Whatever it's called. Yeah.
And we've got Northwest Derby. Such a dead name. But yeah, there we go. Gaskey, were there any other matches that caught your eye? Because, you know, as soon as we said West Ham are going to get relegated, they start winning.
That was probably the other one, was them putting, you know, they can't score. Because they don't get battered, do they, West Ham? They just lose. Mm-hmm. It's just like, oh, it's 0-0. Oh, 1-0, lose. And they just go and score 4 in 10 minutes. So it's just like, well, that could be the kick up the arse they need. Mm-hmm. You never know. But this is when we talk about who we think's going down, who's it going to be too late for, manager's going to get sacked. They pull out a stunt like that and make us look like idiots. Mm-hmm. Seems to be a common thing for these podcasts. So,
speaking of manager getting sacked, Gaskey, I think you sent me a message after the Spurs result saying that you're now of the opinion Potter should go.
I mean, yeah, there's a line. There's got to be a line when a manager's struggling, where you have to be like inevitable. As much as, you know, I like Potter, give him, he should have time. Manager should have time at these big clubs, but he should not be that poor. There's a line. You know, you can't. What is it? 2 in 12. They've won.
It might be worse than that. To be fair,
might be worse than that. Come on. If you had a manager at City after Guardiola and he had that record, as you were about talking about giving them time, you'd probably be thinking, wouldn't you? Look, I'm sorry, I've been as nice as I can be.
Yeah. Oh, so, I know I'm in the minority. I still think Potter should be given
optimistic. Yeah,
this season.
I'd like to see him be. Yeah.
Oh, look, if he loses like the next 5 in a row or whatever, then fine. Like. There is a line. For me, I don't think the line is losing at Spurs. City lost at Spurs. It's a hard place to go.
Yeah.
Look, in fact, I don't even know who the next games are. Should we find out?
I feel like they've played most of the top teams now.
So they're at home against Leeds, and they're at home against Dortmund. 1-0 down, and they're away against Leicester. If they don't win 2 out of 3 of those, then fine. I think at that point get rid of him. But I'm still right now of the opinion that unless that something like that happens and he doesn't pick up, because it does need to improve. I'm not going to defend him, to the death, but ideally, I think he should be given this season. Gets Nkunku in the summer. Add another striker to that, whether it's Osimhen or Vlahovic or Ivan Toney, and then you've actually got the makings of a good team there. I think he does need a striker at the
just
end
needs
of the
someone
day.
the ball, doesn't it?
Well, yeah, because what's his front three? Mudryk, Sterling, Havertz.
And Havertz, I think, and they don't put the ball in the net. So it's like, if someone could put the ball in the net, you'd see a huge difference.
Yeah, and Sterling can do that, but he basically will only do that for a tap-in, basically.
He needs the supply, but the supply isn't coming.
Yeah, and
there's no striker, so it just seems to be like a never-ending circle.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, they do have a striker in a Aubameyang, but I don't rate him as a man. So that's a Graham Potter situation. I might do a YouTube video. That might be my next YouTube video defending Graham Potter, because I like that man a lot, and I'm just seeing it online a lot on Twitter, especially that like Chelsea. I mean, I know online fans are very reactionary anyway, but they are. I think, in fact, I saw a petition, like one of the biggest like Chelsea fan accounts. There was like a petition going round that like it's got thousands of signatures, like sack Graham Potter. But I believe the club have come out. I haven't read the article yet, but The Athletic were reporting that the club's come out saying no, we are going to back Potter for now at least.
I've always ignored them, because they always come out and say that, and then they'll sack them. So it's their way of just shutting people up.
Mm-hmm. No, that's fair. But yes, that was the most interesting action from the Premier League. As I say, not much really happened, did it, Gaskey? Not much really happened. No,
it was quite weak. Quite weekend, I think.
Yeah, no tails in the title race, but obviously the big news being Manchester United's victory in the League Cup final. But yes, guys, that was the oh no, what am I talking about? Something huge happened. The Champions League took place.
I was going to say, was this the destruction of Anfield we're going to talk about?
Yeah, well, and also just English teams generally before we even talk about that. Chelsea, I thought they played well against Dortmund, but they did lose. Spurs lost against AC Milan. City failed to beat RB Leipzig. They drew their 1-1. But of course, the main event is Liverpool 5-2 Real Madrid, and then Liverpool not even being able to beat Palace. It's not going well for them. That was the most. I can't even. I think I like tweeted that after the match. I don't even know what I've just watched. That 5-2 battering. It was just crazy. The most bizarre game.
It was like the perfect start for them, and then Courtois making it even better for them, and then it was as soon as Real Madrid got into the game, Liverpool just crumbled.
Yeah, they didn't know what to do.
As soon as Vinicius was getting a sniff and Benzema, I think Liverpool had double the expected goals as well. So the chances were coming, but Real Madrid were making them count, and then I don't know. It was just a mess.
It was. Yeah, they were 2-0 up, and in those moments, in a big Champions League game, a big European night, you should try to control the game from that point, but they just like kept making mistakes and sloppy
players as well. They like them players to control that game.
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly. They've got very chaotic play. I know a lot's been made of the chaos of lots of Liverpool's players, but in those moments, I say what Liverpool need is someone like a Jack Grealish or a Riyad Mahrez to slow the game down, and just give them and just like give them a calming presence, but that just did not happen. And I think you want to have a little rant about the Militao goal.
You look at all of them. Like the first goal was a cracking finish from Vinicius. The second one was just a mess again from another goal. It's both two of the best goalkeepers in the world deciding who's worse. Mm-hmm. And then the Militao one is just zonal marking doesn't work if you're not all on the same wavelength. Mm-hmm. Like you decide these are our zones. The crosses come in, and no one's attacked their zone. They've just stood there. It's probably some of the worst defending I've seen.
It is literally schoolboy, isn't it?
It's because for one, right, this is going to sound crazy, but I would kind of defend Trent, right?
For that goal in particular.
Because people are going, watch Trent. Okay, I'm watching all the others as well, though. Like the zonal marking.
I think it's Gomez's fault, if anything.
Yeah, the defender leaves Trent and Trent stays. That's evidence that they're zonal marking, right? Trent's not going to go tracking because you get in the way then. That's whoever's zone it is, you're going to go and attack that. No one did. Mm-hmm. No one took account of it. So, yeah, it was just absolutely atrocious.
Yeah, terrible. Joe Gomez heavily involved in most of those goals conceded. To be honest,
he was. And then what was it? Someone from your Discord decided to sell Joe Gomez for, what was it, 40 million?
Yeah, it was Liam. This is shout out Liam. He thinks
I want what he's smoking.
Yeah, he said Joe Gomez is going to be sold for around 40 to 50 million. I believe he said.
Sure.
Yeah. I don't even think Nathan Ake was that much, and that's when he was playing well. Never mind.
Rand wasn't that much.
No. Yeah, so and also he signed a contract extension last year, so it's not like it's going to be easy to get rid of him either.
No, so then you're going to put Liverpool, you think you're going to put the price up to sell him, but then teams aren't going to pay that price.
Yeah, unless someone's Aston Villa, because they're a bit stupid, aren't they? They might.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just
God knows.
Yeah, it's a weird situation with Liverpool. We've obviously talked about them a lot on these podcasts. That's their season over. They're not scoring 3 at the Bernabeu, never mind 3 without response by Real Madrid. So they're out of the Champions League. I don't care what anyone says. They are. Clip this if it doesn't happen. But let's be honest, this would be a bigger comeback than Barca versus PSG when they were 4-0, or even Liverpool Barca, because this is going to the Bernabeu.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because the whole Barcelona game was you were 3-0 down. You're having to score. You're having to put 3 past them, but then you go into Anfield, where a season where you're actually playing well.
Exactly.
And your fans are backing you. You're in an absolute. The team's an absolute mess at the moment. In your current state, in 9th in the league, 8th in the league, whenever you are, you're not going to the Bernabeu and like you said, put your 3 past them with no response. It ain't happening.
Definitely not. Obviously out of the League Cup. Obviously out of the FA Cup. And the best they can hope for is 4th place, and I'd be staggered if they got that.
There's a lot of confidence out there that I've seen of them getting 4th, but you're involving Newcastle to completely vanish, Tottenham to vanish, because I think top 3 you probably say is done.
Yeah,
safe to say, unless United somehow just bin off all the hard work they've done. Mm-hmm. But yeah, you're expecting all these teams above them, even like teams like who's in the gap, Brighton.
Yeah, Brighton, Brentford, Fulham.
Got a few games they've got a few games in hand. You're expecting these teams, though, to do a lot worse than they're doing, and Liverpool a lot better than they're doing. It's difficult to call. It's difficult to say, they're going to fight for it, because it's not. Yeah,
it would have to be a huge turnaround, and the evidence is, and the 0-0 against Palace, that was pretty toothless of a performance.
That was because Palace weren't great, and then they still could have beat them, so it's...
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so there we go. That is Liverpool. Quickly, Gaskey, who's finishing 4th in the Premier League?
Tottenham.
I agree. There we go. That was the roundup of this week's matches, chaps.
It's all here and it's all football, all the time.
We're going to guess the footballer in 60 seconds, Gaskey.
Yes, we are.
I've got 2. You've got 2. You going
I've
first?
Got 2, and I'm going down your route.
What's my route?
Your stupid game of a specific version. I'm going to do both.
Interesting stuff. So would you like me to go first, or are you going first?
You can guess mine first.
Okay. So just to confirm, am I guessing a footballer, or am I guessing a version of a footballer?
You're guessing a version of the footballer.
Right, okay.
So the footballer's not difficult to get.
Yes.
But then you've got to get the version of that footballer.
Yeah, and to confirm, by version, it's not going to be as easy as...
It's a specific moment.
Exactly.
It's like you did with the Torres.
Yeah, rather than Chelsea Torres, it's missed an open net Torres.
Yes, it's a specific moment. Yeah.
Exactly. Okay, right. This is going to be good. The shoe is on the other foot, as they say.
Yeah.
Right, okay. Guess the version of the footballer. Go. Still playing?
No.
Most known for top 5 league?
Yes.
Premier League?
No.
Serie A?
No.
La Liga?
Yeah.
Barca?
No.
Real Madrid?
Yeah.
The goalkeeper.
No.
Defender.
No.
Midfielder.
Yeah.
Defensive midfielder.
No.
Attacking midfielder.
Yeah.
Okay. Is it Zidane headbutt?
It is Zidane
Oh.
I was being nice. I was going to go with the volley.
That would
against, I think it was Leverkusen, wasn't it?
Mm.
But I went for this one. I thought, I'll do a different one. I've got another one though. The second one I'm going to do.
Thank you for that. Okay, thank you for that. Yes, that was good. That was a good one. Right, I've got one for you as well, Gaskey. It's not a version. It's just a footballer.
Just a player. Right.
Yeah. Okay. Guess the footballer. 60 seconds. Go.
Are they still playing?
No.
Okay. Are they dead?
No.
Okay. Are they best known for a top 5 league?
Yes.
Are they best known for the Premier League?
Yes.
Are they best known for a top 16?
Yes.
Are they best known for a northern team?
No.
Are they best known for a London club?
Yes.
Best known for Chelsea?
Yes.
Best goalkeeper?
No.
Midfielder?
Yes.
Attacking midfielder?
Yes.
Okay. Are they European?
Yes.
Did they play all their career in the Premier League?
No.
Okay. Are they Spanish?
No.
Italian?
No.
French?
No.
Were they in the World Cup?
Yes.
Portugal?
No. Need to think more local.
English?
Yes.
Okay. Lampard?
No.
Did they play in the noughties?
Yes.
Did they retire in the noughties?
No. And I need a final guess. I'm just going to clarify their position.
Okay.
Attacking midfield, yes, but sometimes also on the wings.
Right. English. Attacking midfielder. Sometimes on the wings.
Most known for Chelsea. In the noughties.
In the noughties.
English.
English. Centre attacking midfield, but sometimes the wings. Noughties English. It's going to be something obvious, isn't it?
Yeah.
I was thinking of someone, but he's not English. I had him in my head thinking I'll go with him, but he's not English. This is tough. Maybe it's not even a tough one either, is it?
No?
Could be. I didn't get when they retired though. Chelsea in the noughties, but they didn't retire in the noughties, so they moved on. They moved on. I can't think of anyone.
Shall I tell you?
You're gonna have to.
Joe Cole.
Joe Cole, of course. Joe Cole. Should have thought about FIFA players. I would have got.
Amazing.
But Joe Cole.
Right. So I've got another version to guess. Yes.
Yes.
And you say this is a really hard one.
A bit of a hard one. It's also harder for me to help you in a little bit.
Okay.
So I'm going to go off who I think he's most famous for. But you potentially might disagree, but you might not.
Right. Okay. Guess the version of the footballer. Go. Still playing?
No.
Top 5 league. Known for?
Yes.
Premier League.
No.
Bundesliga.
No.
La Liga.
No.
Serie A.
Yes.
Napoli.
No.
Milan club.
Yes.
AC Milan.
Yes.
Goalkeeper.
No.
Defender.
Yes.
Fullback.
No.
Centre half.
Yeah.
Dutch.
That's one of his positions. Yeah, Dutch, yes.
Yapstam.
No.
Played for Milan in the 90s.
Yeah.
Most known in the 90s?
No, a little bit.
Most known in
early
the
90s.
Most known in the 80s then.
Yeah, 80/90s.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Rijkaard.
Yeah.
Rijkaard spitting at Voller's mullet.
Yes! He's done it! I wasn't sure if he's more well known for Ajax, but I made me one.
That was a tricky one. That was a more classic player as well. Well done.
Yeah.
That was good. That was very good. I had like 5 seconds there. I just got there.
Good grab.
Okay, Gaskey, I've got one more for you, and this is guess the version.
Here we go.
Okay. Guess the version of the footballer. Go.
Are they still playing?
No.
Okay. Are they best known for a top 5 league?
Yes.
Best known for Premier League?
Yes.
Are they best known for a top 6 team?
Yes.
Best known for a London club?
No.
Best known for a Manchester club?
Yes.
United?
Yes.
Okay, goalkeeper.
Nope.
Midfielder.
Nope.
Striker.
Yes.
Okay, did they retire in the noughties?
Yes.
Okay, did they win a Premier League?
Yes.
Yes. Ruud van Nistelrooy?
No.
Are they European?
Yes.
Yeah, English?
No.
Dutch?
No.
Spanish?
No.
French?
No.
Portuguese?
No.
Italian?
No.
Oh my god. Who is it? This is going to be really obvious. Scottish?
No.
Oh my god.
Right,
There's a
so I'm
specific-
sorry,
this is
Gaskey, but
awful.
you've not even got the player, so you've got
I know.
to guess the player. I tell you what, I'll give you 2 guesses. No, I can't really do it if you don't get it right.
I'm sorry. This has been a bad week. Right. So, best known for United in the noughties.
They
I
played.
did say that, didn't I?
Well, you said best known for United. Did they play in the noughties? It's a tricky one.
That's what I meant. I worded that dodgily. So, like the 90s /
Yeah. I'd argue they're more known for the 90s,
right.
but they did play in the noughties.
Ooh, wait.
Oh.
Is it? Is it? Solskjaer 99th minute 99.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well done.
I made a meal of that and I still got it.
Well done. Absolutely smashed it.
Bring it back from an absolute mess.
Excellent. There we go. We did good there. Versions are tricky. That was a very good recovery. Well
Versions, I like the versions because you can kind of figure it out in a way. You can think of what has happened for your team or that team and then figure it. Yeah, I enjoyed that.
Exactly. Yeah, there we go. Guys, that was Guess the Football in 60 seconds.
Every football team will be playing football several times and in various combinations.
Nothing has officially ground Gaskey's gears this week. We did touch on the gripes they had over the Carabao Cup final, but that's obviously been discussed already. So we're going to go on to NobGas. We've got 2 really good questions here, which I feel might be slightly longer form, so I've only gone for 2. The first one, I'm going to do the football-related one first and the non-football-related one next. So from Will, who says, you need to pick 2 people for the Hunger Games. One needs to be a Premier League manager. I'll assume current Premier League manager, and the other a current Premier League player. Who are you going for? 2 people to help you survive the Hunger Games. Who do you think is going to do it?
I'm thinking. For player, I'm thinking Lisandro Martinez might be quite fun.
Yeah,
like a little chihuahua.
That's a good idea. That's a good idea. Yeah, because that's probably a very good idea, isn't it? Because with the Hunger Games, if you look scary and big and huge, you're going to be a big target. Whereas Martinez might look quite unassuming.
They might think, he'll fail himself, but actually, the guy's an animal.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, so people go, just leave him. He's small, no one cares about him. But actually, he's mental, and he would rip your throat out, sort of vibes. So that's a good shout, actually, Martinez. I might agree with you there. Because I was thinking manager Sean Dyche, but then I was thinking, is that putting a big target on you?
Is that too you massive gob like I'll sort you out, and then he's I don't know how to call him, but but yeah, then there might be too much. But then I'm thinking more of the managers.
I'm thinking maybe Arteta, because here's what I'm thinking. He can get a little bit aggressive sometimes as well, first of all, but he's obviously a very good tactician. So he can plan attacks and defensive strategies and all that stuff.
But is he too theatrical? Is he going to be too known? Is he too? People are going to go, that guy who just won't shut the fuck up. Let's put a cap in him.
maybe, but I'm thinking he looks pretty, so maybe people won't want to kill him. I don't know.
I see. A bit of flirtation.
Yeah. So I'm going to lock in for me. I'm going to steal your Martinez. You can still have Martinez, obviously, and I'm going to have Arteta personally. Who's your duo?
Who would I go for? This is the nifty one.
What's that?
I'm gonna say just in the same route with Conte a bit.
Conte? Oh, you want Conte, who's currently having liver issues or something?
How deep does this question go?
Who's got health issues? You probably don't want him in.
I have food there straight away.
Would you want Ten Hag, for example? Would you want?
No,
I don't think you want Eddie Howe.
No, I'm trying to think of who else.
Marco Silva, I don't think so. Thomas Frank, he looks like he could lose it at any second, to be fair. Like, I wouldn't want to cross him.
Yeah, he's a bit of a moaner, though.
Patrick Vieira, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's a very, very strong man. David Moyes, if you want to lose immediately.
Thinking like, if Sam Allardyce in the Prem, he survives a lot, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I mean, for me, the obvious one would be, like a Sean Dyche or...
You've got your player is your bit of your Rottweiler type thing to help you out, and then you can have, like you said, one a bit tactical.
Yeah. Or you can just bin that off and have Sean Dyche.
No, I'm going to just go for muscle. I'm going to go for Sean Dyche. I'm just going to go, so I'm just going to beat the living shit out of everyone, and I'm surviving.
Yeah, good. Where
You're using brains, I'm using brawn.
Yeah, you think you're surviving, but what I'll do is I'll hide in a tree with Arteta, yeah, and whilst you're wiping out all the enemies, doing the dirty work.
You're going to let me do all the work, and then you're just going to go bing.
Exactly, and then as soon as you think you've gone, yeah, I've won, I've beaten everyone, boom, that's when the arrow hits you right in the face. And I laugh over your dead body. And
can we return to the end of the season if they don't win the league and say that? Do you bottle it though? He misses.
But yeah, so there's some good answers there. I think that was a good one. And then DR says, "What is your hottest / most controversial opinion about food that you know will trigger people?" And he even gives an example here. So I've said on streams in the past that I don't like Subway. I mean, straight away, Gaskey, does that upset you that I've said that?
It confuses me because it's just a sandwich.
Exactly.
So you just don't like sandwiches?
No, that's not it. It's for what you get at Subway, it's outrageously overpriced, and it's just a sandwich. That's my issue with it.
That opinion of it is like, because I enjoy a Subway, but I'd have to have something like one of the bigger options. But then, like you say, it's expensive. So, for example, if I was to go to Subway, I would order a steak and cheese, barbecue sauce, lettuce, onions, and it comes to like £8, and it's like, it is expensive.
Yeah, think of the KFC you could get for that.
Well, that's what I mean. But in comparison to if you wanted, let's say, just something basic like with a few meats on it, just go make it yourself. I do get that, because that's quite expensive for what it is.
I just think,
but if you're just talking about the food itself, Subway is good.
I think it's average. I think it's all right.
Enjoy it. It's controversial. What have I got that's controversial?
I've said before I don't like gravy. That's quite controversial.
Having the KFC gravy, that is quite controversial. Because KFC, that's what makes KFC. I think the KFC chips are shit. Don't know if that's controversial.
Shit's a strong word.
In terms of takeaways, in terms of fast food, sorry, I don't think anything comes close to McDonald's chips.
In terms of fries.
In terms of
potato-based products.
Yeah.
You're definitely
right. I
right.
don't think they do.
Definitely right.
But they're just not. They've changed. The other ones have changed them quite a few times, and they're never close.
Yeah, well, I remember, back in the olden days, KFC used to be really chunky chips. And then they had like a sort of phase where they copied McDonald's and did skinny fries. And now they're sort of... Really?
I think so. I think they were like, change the chips back, and they did.
But yeah, and now the chips they're not as chunky as they were, but they're obviously not as thin as they were. So they're in this sort of no man's land of chips and fries in between.
They're trying to find. Yeah.
So I know I don't think they're shit, because I do like eating them, but I agree that they're nowhere near as good as say McDonald's chips.
I'm trying to think what's controversial. I don't think I've got anything that's controversial.
I like Burger King. Is that controversial?
I see the problem. Burger King for me is, I like Burger King, but then it comes down the same route as Subway. It's expensive.
Is it?
In comparison, it is.
Oh,
but
okay.
again, you do get bigger burgers and stuff, but in comparison, it is expensive.
Is this controversial? I prefer Burger King burgers to McDonald's burgers.
Do you know what? I agree.
Whoa,
I think it's controversial. I agree. If I wanted the perfect fast food meal,
here we go.
McDonald's fries,
yes,
a Burger King burger, and a KFC crush 'em.
I've never had one of those.
Would you like the milkshake type things to do? They're great.
Yeah, I've heard of them. I Because I think like the last time I like ordered it online, I was looking for an option for like because they don't really do desserts at KFC. It's just like cookies. I was like, I couldn't see the milkshake on like Just Eat or something.
It was weird 'cause, like when you go in, you can't even find it in the option to. You have to kind of go to the counter. It's weird.
Oh,
it doesn't even give you an option to pick it.
Oh, it's like a hidden secret
You know,
prize.
Just keep it quiet. It's because their machines work and the McDonald's ones don't, so they have to keep it strum.
Yeah,
but yeah, that's
interesting.
That's mine. I agree with that. I think.
And would you have a side of popcorn chicken as well from KFC? Maybe.
You've always got to get popcorn.
Because KFC does the best chicken, doesn't it?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But there we go. That's I didn't think we actually agree on our controversial thing.
McDonald's released the Big Tasty, don't they? And that's their big burger, but it does not touch a Whopper from Burger King. Burger King's just amazing.
I love like the double bacon cheeseburgers from Burger King.
Yeah. Proper juicy meat.
Yeah, and the meat, it's like taste. It does. I know it's the advert says, "Oh, it tastes really smoky." It does though. It does taste really smoky and really nice.
It tastes like a proper burger. You do because you do pay a bit more. Like I think if you wanted a large meal from Burger King, you're looking at nearly a tenner. Compared to McDonald's, you're looking at a fiver. But you do get what you pay for. It's so much better.
Bang for your buck.
It is bang for your buck. You're right.
It's you're paying a premium, but it's not like, in my opinion, Subway's overpriced, and it's not worth it. You might say Burger King's more expensive, but it's worth it.
For me, for Subway, it does kind of depend on what you order, because if I was to order a foot-long steak and cheese with bits and bobs on it, barbecue sauce, I think it's about £8. I think that's all right. But then if you're ordering just a few meats on it for a foot long, you're looking at £6. It's like, it's expensive. Just go and make it yourself. Buy the stuff from Tesco. Of
those main three, because it's in terms of like fast food stuff, like the main three are probably McDonald's, KFC, Burger King, aren't they? Yeah. I know you've made your ideal combination there, but obviously that's not an option in real life. What's your favourite overall?
It's a tough one. See, in the current situation in this country, McDonald's for value, because the cost is just a lot less. Oh, it's tough. It depends what mood I'm in.
Well, let's say cost isn't an issue. Let's say Gaskey, because you've been a good boy this week, you get to pick any food you want from these three that you're not paying. So don't worry about the cost. Do you go to McDonald's?
I think I'd have to do KFC.
Burger King. And you're right. I think you're right. Yeah. I think KFC probably is the best out of all of them.
I think in terms of quality,
because Burger King do better burgers than McDonald's. KFC does better chicken than McDonald's. We've talked about the fries being great, but fries are a side.
But also, like with Burger King, the burgers are good, chips are not great. KFC chicken's great, chips are okay.
Average, yeah.
But I love the gravy. And the gravy, you just dip your chips in, you're sorted.
And what's your go-to KFC order?
I would go with
Are you boneless or boned?
The Mighty Bucket for one.
Which is
that? 2 recipe chicken, 2 hot wings, and 2 mini fillets.
Oh, right. Oh, you got variety. Okay.
You get a bit of everything. You see, it's not just going off one thing on the menu. And then maybe a small popcorn chicken on the side.
Of course.
A gravy. There you go. Pepsi Max Cherry.
And not a Crush'em.
Not every time, no.
Only if I'm in the mood. Are they called Crush'ems?
They're called Crush'ems, yeah.
Crush'ems. Yeah, I'm a boneless boy, so I like to get I don't know if that's what it's called, but because I think with that you only get a small popcorn chicken, so I get a mini fillet meal. I might also add on another fillet and a large popcorn chicken, and that's
the way to do it,
and that's good. But I don't eat any of the sides, so I don't have gravy or I like sauces.
We need to have a chat. Off camera, we need to have a chat.
But what's it called? Supercharger mayo? Is that what it's called? Supercharger?
Don't know.
Have I made that up?
Is it like garlic mayo?
I think there's 2. I think there's garlic mayo and supercharger. But I like those. I like dipping my chicken and chips into there. But there we go. That was a good question. And look, oh gosh, I hit my mic. And look at what debate it led to about
longer than the league cup final.
Yeah. Hey,
maybe
we're passionate about
mix up the podcast. Maybe we should be a food podcast with a bit of football.
Yeah, we'll throw in the occasional mukbang in every now and then. But yeah, guys, thank you so much for your questions, my little noblets. And if you would like to become a noblet, the link for the Patreon is in every single YouTube video description.
It will never be finally decided who has won the football.
And last thing before we go, Gaskey, big game, Liverpool versus United. Also, City play Newcastle, which is a big game, but this is a big game, Liverpool versus United. Liverpool have got to try to restore some pride after the humiliation against Real Madrid and to a lesser extent against Palace. United are currently on a big momentum thingamajig, and I think they're the most informed team in the Premier League if you look at the last 10 games, for example. So it's a big opportunity for them to increase it.
Games it's been. I'll find it quickly.
What's this in
relation to the World Cup? I think they've played 19 games in 67 days.
And they've won like all of them or most of them.
And they've won like, with the run they've had, 14. Something like that, and lost once, which was the Arsenal game.
Yeah.
Which is mightily impressive with the amount of games they've got to play. But can they keep it up? That's the question.
Well, I'm about to ask you, Gaskey, how do you see this game going?
I can't see them losing.
You talk about United?
Yeah. I can't see them losing. It's gonna be I think it'll be a tough game because it always is. No matter how well one's playing the other. I'm gonna go with a draw. I'm gonna go over 2-2.
Okay. Cheeky 2-2. Yeah. Well, to be honest, I'd take that because if City keep dropping points, there might be a case where United who come second, and then City are in the race for second rather than first. Yeah, I would say those. Hopefully, it's a good game. It's normally quite a tasty affair when these two sides meet up, isn't it?
It does. It does. In the past, where United have been absolute crap and Liverpool have just trounced them, it's nice to have a bit of a competitive match. Would be nice.
Definitely. And it was a battering, wasn't it? I know it was only 2-1 at Old Trafford, but it felt more like that.
It felt very comfortable, didn't it?
Yeah, definitely. There we go. So will we have another happy Gaskey next week? We'll find out. It's also FA Cup. Who do United play?
West Ham on Wednesday.
West Ham. That's Old Trafford, is it?
Old Trafford. Yeah. I don't think they play away in the cups. Going into these draws, I think they have.
And the way Ten Hag's going, he's probably not going to rotate that heavily, so that should be a comfortable United win, shouldn't it?
Hopefully.
And
fingers crossed.
Yeah, and City go away to Bristol on Tuesday. So again, in theory, that should be an easy win for City. But stranger things have happened. Bristol are, I think, like mid-table or lower mid-table in the Championship. Not, on paper it's an easy game, but it won't be because it never is. Guys, that was the NobCast. Thank you so much for listening and watching. If you haven't already done so, like the video, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Go give us a positive review on Spotify and Apple Podcasts if you would like to. It's been a very food intensive podcast, but I liked that. That was fun.
Enjoy it. It shows that we have our passions don't just stop at football.
Yeah, we also like eating food.
As you can tell.
Oh, there we go. But yes, guys, that was NobCast. Thank you so much for listening. I've been Nobbins.
I've been Gaskey.
And we'll see you next time. Goodbye, guys. More emotion. More. Giving me more. That's just terrifying. That's not celebrating.